So with that, I would like to introduce our next speaker, Don Drum, Executive Director of PERSI, is come to explain the status of PERSI again for us. While I know he can't be an advocate for any groups, we certainly think of him as an advocate for us because he does such a great job in taking care of this important function. So everybody please welcome Don Drum, who's just healing up from a hip surgery, I hear. So welcome, Don.
Thank you. I was considering moving down there so that I'd be in front of the slideshow, but I see that the camera's set up to focus up here, so I'll try to work from here and point you to our slides, and if that doesn't work, I'm somewhat mobile. Okay, as Ron mentioned, I had a total hip replacement 4 weeks ago. If you ever have problems with your hip, go get it taken care of. It's not that big a deal. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about this. Front slide is listed as the past, present, and future. I've switched this up just a little bit to provide you, the last 2 years have kind of had the same format. I'm going to give you a little more detail, and we'll get into a little bit of how I'm a non-advocate advocate, and I'll talk about that. The first topic I want to talk about is member benefit and member data. If we go to the next slide there, Melody. As you look at this slide, there's some important information there. One of the issues that we hear about is that maybe members don't value, especially new members, don't value PERSI as much as they used to. And my comment to that is if they don't, they should. You need to prepare yourself for retirement. However, if you look on the column on the left, you can see we've had a reduction of about 2,000 active positions in PERSI employers. And I think that's going to go down for FY12 as well, because cities and counties who were not experiencing significant budget issues as the state was are experiencing significant budget issues today. And I think we're going to see city and counties maybe not fill positions. I don't know that they would have a layoff or something, but they may hold positions open. The good news is, I believe as the economy recovers, we're going to see these positions come back and be filled. It's not damaging the fund, but it is an area of concern. If you look under it says employer units on the right side of the screen. The point that I make to anyone asking me and making claims that employers can't afford to stay in PERSI is we've had a constant growth in employer units. As a matter of fact, that 737 was as of June 30th. We're actually up, I believe, to 742 now. So we continually have employers joining because they see the value of the benefit. If you look at this is another area that alarms legislators and individuals who are concerned about the sustainability of the fund. You can see the growth in retirees. The reason they're concerned is because as more people retire, we pay out more money. They wonder if we can sustain the fund as we experience this growth in retirees. My response is we were built to sustain this. We knew it was coming. Some actions that have been taken have escalated retirement. I have to be careful. I'm not going to talk about anything specific. But there were some actions taken last year that encouraged people to retire sooner than they normally had been retiring. Not everybody retires when they reach Rule of 80 or they reach Rule of 90. There is nothing that requires that you retire when you reach Rule of 80 or reach Rule of 90. However, you can retire if you feel like you can. With some of the politics that have been going on nationally and in the state, individuals who used to work past Rule of 90 or Rule of 80, a lot of them chose to retire last year. And as a matter of fact, in the first quarter of 2012, we had excess of 4% growth in retirees. So we are seeing more people retire earlier than they used to, but we're okay with that. All right, go ahead. One of the things that I talk to legislators about is the economic stimulus that our benefits provide. We pay out $578 million in benefits every year. $515 million of that is mailed to addresses in the Idaho economy. The retirees spend their money. They've saved all their life so they could retire. So when they get their benefit check, they're going to the grocery store, they're buying cars. They have the same needs everybody else has. As a matter of fact, they have some additional needs in regards to medical care and prescription drugs. All that money goes right back into the Idaho economy. So it's very important that our legislators understand that. And trust me, they understand it very well. And I'll get to some issues later where it explains why. All right, next slide. I'm going to transition now and talk to you about funding. I think this is, you're going to see very quickly why we're in good shape. When you look at this slide, there's 3 revenue streams that come into PERSI. Our investment returns, our employer contributions, and the contributions you make. Now, not all pension systems require employee contributions. And many of the pension systems that you hear about nationally who have problems, they have problems because they didn't require that their employees contribute. That also sets them up because if you haven't contributed, it's easier for the state to go in and take that money. Because you've contributed, and this is a question I get asked all the time, can the state dip into the PERSI fund and take that money to fund something else? And the answer is no, they cannot. And one of the primary reasons they cannot is because you've contributed money, you have a balance in there that is your money. We can't break that out very easily. The state cannot dip into this pool for other reasons. This is our money. It's our money to pay your benefits in the future. Talk a little bit about why the PERSI system is strong, and I'm going to detour from this for just a minute. We've been talking for about 3 years of how strong PERSI is, and part of the problem we've always had is when we try to compare ourselves to other systems, it's like an apples to oranges comparison because none of them do market valuation, and I'll talk a little bit later about daily market valuation. However, a report just came out in November by the Center on Retirement. It's CRR, I can't remember the rest of it. It's out of Boston College. And basically they did an apples to apples comparison of all retirement systems. PERSI is the #1 funded retirement system in the Western United States, and we're close to the top in the entire United States. So